What's going on, you guys? Your boy Dwidge back again with another video. In this video, we'll talk performance. We'll talk about kind of me breaking down my funnel and kind of tests and changes that I'm looking to make to optimize the business. And we'll also talk about rev checks later on in the video for both stores. So currently I am heading to the gym and let's talk about performance. So performance last week honestly was significantly better than the week previous for both stores. For the first store, the week before last week, we were at like a 7% margin. And as you guys know, if you've been watching like the channel and like been following along, I recently switched from using the one CBO structure because from the last couple of months it just hasn't been yielding the scale that I need, to launching individual batches of creatives and their own CBOs. And last week's performance was a lot better and I can honestly see the potential with that. And yeah, the goal for this week honestly to continue having good performance is just looking to get as much batches as we can made. Basically, that's like where we're gonna get our scale and just target a lot of different personas, because at the end of the day, when it comes with this testing structure, it's very dependent obviously on the creatives, because not one creative is gonna necessarily have not one specific CBO will have a lot of the ad spend. So it's important that all the CBOs being tested are, for one, not basically iterations of the same ads, because at that point it defeats the purpose. And for two, they are good enough in targeting different personas, you know, different benefits, different master size, basically just different angles in general, so we can ensure that we can actually scale these different CBOs. So it gives us another kind of leverage point rather than focusing on just scaling one specific campaign. Now, when it comes to the second store, performance as well on there was very, very good on a revenue level. On a profit level, we haven't had a profitable week yet, but revenue increased, I believe, like 60 to like 70%, which is very good. Now, the only issue with this though is that, and I was gonna go into this, I'll go more in depth into this honestly when I'm driving back home from the gym, but essentially though, performance was good on a revenue level. Profitability not so much. We spent more than we made, but that's also because we tested a whole lot of shit last week, right? And for that specific store, there's a lot of potential there, but it's kind of dependent on how we're able to optimize the AOV for that store right now. Like, we're getting good ad metrics when we're looking at the creatives. People are getting to our landing pages from the ads. They're adding to cart, but when they're adding to cart, there's a discrepancy, not a discrepancy, but the AOV isn't high enough to kind of, yeah, it's not high enough. And that means our AOV, what the fuck am I saying? The AOV is too low to the point where our acquisition cost is way higher than it, causing us to be unprofitable. And I talked about this again, like 3 videos ago. We did make a change on there, but the change didn't necessarily work. So we are kind of back to the drawing board right now, because we don't want to keep testing creatives and be in a situation where we're just burning cash on creatives, but our AOV isn't the best. So we have to optimize our AOV. And again, I'll talk about this in a bit when I come back from the gym. But essentially, we just need to optimize our AOV to basically make our product look like, the goal honestly is to make our product look like, it's not look like, honestly just give them the feel that they're getting more value than they're paying for. So if you guys don't know, the way to kind of increase your price point and make your product seem more of a luxury or a, honestly, the goal is for us to be a premium feel, not to be the cheapest, not to be the most luxury. You just want to be kind of in the middle. So the premium feel of the product is just by providing as much value as possible to the point where it feels kind of ridiculous that you're giving such a great deal while, the price point is still looking good. So let's say, I don't know, you're buying you're buying a dog bed, but let's do like a knee brace. So you're buying a knee brace, but they're telling you, hey, you're getting a knee brace plus you're getting this knee cast plus this ebook plus da 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 da, like 5 free things for the value of $39.99. You'll be like, damn, this is valued at like $100, but they're giving, like, obviously maybe it's not $100, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, the goal is just to make it seem like it's more valuable than it actually is, so that you're able to, again, increase your price point, and so you can be able to scale. Like, that's where we're at right now, and that's why I haven't turned off the product, because we're getting a lot of sales. We're damn near at 100 sales with this product, but there's still optimizations that need to be made. So again, this week is focused on testing all these shits. I'll literally go in depth on this again when I come out from the gym. But yeah, that's kind of performance for the 2 stores. Again, we're up revenue wise. For the first store, we're profitable. Second store, unprofitable. But nevertheless, though, we're making decent enough progress. We just need to keep doing what we're doing and just test a lot more creatives and just test everything. Just keep testing. That's all we can really do right now in this initial phase until we're able to scale that shit, back up to 100K a month. That's where we're at. We're in the trenches. And yeah, that's what things are looking like for me currently. Performance on the first store today is looking very, very good. Yesterday, though, bro, I recently, hold on, let me check this message real quick. I recently, what I do? Hold up. I recently added some bid caps to both stores to see if we can, like, basically, like, force it to be extremely profitable. And yesterday, bro, the bid caps literally, like, overspent, wasted budget. Like, on the second store, we spent $250. We were supposed to only spend if we were. This is how big caps work. You're kind of like saying that you only want, let's say, a $15 CTA, and if it can't give you that, then it shouldn't spend. But it blew past that, and we spent $250 on the second store. First store, we spent $500 unprofitably. Like, it was doing some bullshit. But that's what I heard. That's kind of what happens with these cost caps. So I'm not too phased. But yeah, we're testing a lot of different things this week to see if we can increase performance. I mentioned and touched upon creatives being a good leverage point for us to scale. And this is honestly for both stores. Second thing is these cost caps. And again, I'm just testing a bunch of shit right now and seeing what is going to allow us to have the performance that we need. Because again, like, we're in April right now. I talked about this. I've been saying this whole video, but we talked about this in another video. But we're in April. Q4 it's not around the corner, but like, we're like 2 quarters away. So like, we have to start preparing now, make sure all our assets are secure so we can fucking rip it. Like, I'm trying to make hella fucking money in Q4. And yeah, like, I'm just working as hard as I possibly can while also learning from my mistakes and shit, so we can be able to pump out these numbers. Because I'm trying to push past, $200,000 in a month at some time in Q4. Like, I'm trying to pass that shit. I want to push it as far as I can. I don't want to throw in any numbers right now just to, like, it kind of boosts your dopamine when you haven't hit it yet. But nevertheless, though, I want to hit big numbers Q4, and we have to be able to find some performance, greater performance right now, so we can stabilize there and be able to scale higher. So it's not us going from 20 or 30 to 40 or 50K a month to doing 400. Like, we should be already at like 150 to doing like 400, 500. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how the shit should be. And yeah, that's where my mind's at right now. I'm pulling into the gym right now. When I come out from the gym again, we'll talk about how I'm looking to optimize my AOV, and we'll do a rev check, and then I'll let y'all go about your day. So yeah, catch y'all in a little bit. All right, boys, back from the gym. Let's get a rev check going. Let me put on my seatbelt real quick, and let's get into the rev check. Charge my phone up. So currently today we are at $400 for the day. Yesterday we did pretty shit. Fuck, my fault, boys. Yesterday, pretty shit day again. I told you the bids overspent and pretty shit results. But we did $900 yesterday. Second store today, zero fucking sales. Yo, like, it's so bipolar, but like at low scale, like, it's just bipolar. You have like 3 days where it's amazing, then 3 days where it's oh fuck. I just leaked the store, whatever. I gotta edit this. As you can see, zero sales today. Yesterday we did $75, but the bids blew budget, so we spent a whole lot of fucking money for no reason yesterday on both stores. I don't know what was going on with the bids, but that's what was the situation for both stores. So now we do what the fuck? My fault, boys. Now that I got the rev check out of the way, let's kind of talk about optimization that I can do moving forward to help kind of grow the second business. Because again, the second business, we spent a good amount of money on there. We've gotten a good amount of sales, but we haven't got anything to be profitable on a weekly basis. We've been profitable on some days, but the main issue that we're having, it's not creatives. We're getting people to add to cart, but it's just the pricing and offer that we have going on in our store. Like, yes, today's a bad example, or yes, the past like couple of days have been a bad example, but on average, we usually have a conversion rate of around over 3 to like 6% depending on the day, right? 3 on the low end, 6 obviously on the high end. But even with that, our AOV again is still so low. I told you guys in a previous video we tested a quantity break where we had one more expensive offer. We had the middle one where it's the most popular, and then we had a third really expensive offer just to like, you know, give them the most value as possible, which we know people most likely won't purchase that one. They're probably going to get the middle one, but just so we can boost the AOV. But that offer didn't necessarily work. And there could be multiple reasons why, but I think the main reason is because the value just doesn't seem like it's necessarily there due to the images maybe on the store, because everything else is decent. But I think, again, people aren't necessarily seeing the value there for the product. So what I had and did instead is, one, I got way better pictures on the landing page, and this was like last week. So I added brand new pictures on the landing page for the 2 offers that I was A/B testing, and that increased our returns very, very well, honestly, across that was a fresh Corvette. Yeah, that increased our returns though on a, is that a Corvette? Is that a McLaren? Oh, that's a Corvette, I'm tripping. But yeah, that increased our revenue very, very well for a couple of days. As you guys can see, there's a day where we did like almost $300, and it's very, very profitable. But after that, we haven't had a great day ever since, really. And main reason again is because the AOV is so low that the ROAS, or the CPA, even when we get decent CPAs, our AOV is so low that again, we're still unprofitable or break even. So I looked at this shit and said, okay, bet, let's fuck around and actually invest time into this product and really lock in. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to the product I'm selling, I'm just give you like a little disclaimer, it's like a health related products. And the best way to kind of increase value when it comes to selling these health related products is to, one, have a advertorial or like a listicle. So advertorial is like an article, kind of like third person view of someone explaining how they're suffering with this problem, and then they explain how they tried so many different things, blah 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 blah, and then they found your product and your product changed it. And these are very, very good because they're not really seen as ads, and it looks like it's actually a native approach to selling their product, because people are like, hey, I have the same product, let me read this article, let me learn more about it. Especially for the older audience, they're down to actually read that shit. So that's for one. For two, when you get somebody to actually read that whole advertorial, which is kind of lengthy, not that lengthy, but fairly lengthy, they're more likely to buy the product because now they actually understand everything about the product. Let's say they had a belief. Essentially, the goal, though, let me rephrase that. The goal of the advertorial, for the most part, is to kind of switch the person's belief. The person might think that, oh, the reason why they're facing this problem is because of X, but your advertorial, the job for your advertorial is to explain how that's not true. The real reason for the problem is this, and you need to use whatever product you're selling as the solution mechanism to basically solve the problem, if you get what I'm trying to say. And this is very powerful because you're shifting their belief and you're giving them as much information as they need. And once it comes time to buy, they already understand the value is there. The main difference between a normal sales page and that is that you're giving as much information as possible. It seems very genuine. There's social proof. And again, they're very likely to buy just because of that factor. And once the person already understands that there's value in the product, oh, I forgot to mention, the advertorial doesn't even show you the price of the product. So they already know that the product is valuable. It's going to solve the problem. So for the most part, you can sell the product for way more expensive or more costly than what your competitors are, because you kind of, vetted your target audience. Not vetted, I don't know what the right word is for it right now. I'm kind of blanking on it, but you kind of pre-validated the person. And if this isn't dumb, they're not going to read and go past to your sales page, which is your Shopify page, right? So that also gives you a higher conversion rate. But nevertheless, just to say, they understand this is valuable. And if you were going to sell it on just Shopify alone for $39.99, now you can fuck around and potentially sell it for $79.99. That's how a lot of the big dogs on e-com scale their businesses, because again, the advertorials are so powerful. So I'm looking at the advertorials. I'm looking at also the bundling shit that I was talking about, and seeing how we can really just increase the perceived value for the product and just really tap into the customer psychology and understanding exactly what, they're thinking. So that's kind of what the advertorial that I made was about. We literally just shifted their belief. There's a common misconception, I guess we were saying. I don't want to go too in depth so you guys don't kind of find out what I'm selling, but it explains that this is what you think, that's not true. This is the real problem, and it's the solution to the problem. Compare the other solutions, why they suck, blah, 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 blah. The person tried this, our product, it's better, blah, 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 blah. And then boom, now they have an option to click this shit and check if the product is available. They go on our sales page on Shopify, and then they break down if they want to buy it or not. But for the most part, the value is there, and they're more likely to buy because, again, they see the value, they understand. And if you give a good enough offer, which we know the offer converts, but we still need something to give us a ability to increase, again, the AOV. So in doing that, I think we can, assuming the advertorial performs, we should be able to boost our AOV from around like 60%, and that will be huge for us. If we can do that, I did the numbers yesterday. The current CPAs that we're getting, for the most part, on a bad day will probably be break even. On a good day, we should be fairly profitable. And in doing that as well, our conversion rate should increase, and everything in the funnel should overall perform a lot better. So hope that made sense. Hope I wasn't just rambling. And if y'all don't understand what I just said, let me know and I can reiterate this in the comments or some shit. But nevertheless, that's where we're at. We're testing a bunch of different things with that second store, because again, it doesn't make sense to keep forcing the creatives when it doesn't look like the creatives is the bottleneck to our success. It's mostly due to the AOV. And I said this in another video, but you really have to break down and look at the whole funnel to understand where the drop off is really coming from, because a lot of times you might just be like, hey, this is the problem, but if you're not actually reading your data, that might not even be the problem. Like, you might think the problem is that, hey, the price is, I don't know, too high. But in fact, bro, the reason why you're not getting sales is because nobody's actually watching your ad. Nobody's clicking on your ad. You know, you have a bad hook rate. Like, everything in your ad is horrible, but you're complaining about and saying people aren't buying it because my price isn't good. It's important to not get emotional and just look at the metrics. Like, I've lost a fair, not a big amount of money realistically, but lost some money with this product so far this month. But I'm willing to keep it going because I understand that I'm looking at the data, and from what the data is telling me, I have to make certain changes to potentially optimize and have the opportunity to be profitable. Like, we've seen some profitable days this month. We've probably seen like 7 profitable days. Well, it's like the 22nd, but that's kind of shit ratio. But nevertheless, we've seen some profitable days, and that's telling me that there's definitely potential there. We just have to optimize again our AOV. And I talked about this before. The last thing we tried didn't work. Now we gotta try something else. And we tried a listicle as well. I forgot to mention, listicle didn't do it that well, but that's because the listicle was targeting only one specific audience, which on my part was kind of retarded. I should have made it more of a broader listicle still. But yeah, nevertheless though, we're testing a bunch of shit right now with the second store, and it's just a testing game for me right now. That's all that I'm kind of working on, just testing, trying to get the shit to fucking pop so we can get to these 10K, 20, 30, 50K days and shit like that. So that's kind of where I'm right now. And yeah, I want to give y'all boys, girls, whatever, some motivation before I saw this video. Like, y'all gotta trust the process. Like, it's hard to do when performance is kind of lacking, when you're not seeing the results you want to do, when you're sleeping late, you're working hard, and you're not reaping the reward. It's hard, I know. Like, I feel you. Like, the past, honestly, couple of weeks, I've been grinding on this new store. We've been seeing some success. We see some drawdowns. We see good things, bad things. Like, there's a bunch of different things that go wrong or don't go your way, but you have to understand, you just have to trust the process. If you're doing everything you need to do on a daily basis with your store, and this is assuming you're able to actually be self-aware enough and understand where you're lacking, you shouldn't even be in a situation where you're doubting it, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you will be successful for the most part. So again, any one of you guys that are in your journey, really just trust the process, lock in. God at the end of the day has y'all back. So as long as you work hard, you have faith, and do what you need to do on a regular basis. That's what this shit's all about. Consistency is what is going to get you successful. Like, that's all it is. Like, you can fail literally for 6 months. Q4 comes, you pop a winner and you make fucking $300,000 when you were losing so much money prior. So it's really important to trust the process. And yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave y'all boys. That was somebody say my shit, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna leave y'all boys at. Appreciate you guys again for watching this video, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.